Chapter 17. The Birth of Cycle. Let's summarize what I have told you so far. Mean picked up his narrative. Basically, the world is spun by the explosion inside, which caused the centrifugal force and set off its movement, and this is a continuous reaction. As the world moves forward, this initiates a process of movement, similar to that of the initial substance, which forces the other stars to also orbit the Sun. This is how the solar system emerged. Both of our systems are located at the inner edge near the center of the Milky Way galaxy. The center of this galaxy is more unique than that of other galaxies as it has a hole in the middle. This position is the core of the galaxy, and also the center of the universe. There is no rotation in this area, he continued. To explain this phenomenon in a simpler way, imagine pouring water into a basin and then swirling the water. You will see a hole in the middle of the basin, which doesn't move. Nothing can exist in that hole. In space, anything that comes close to that hole will be sucked into it and dissolved into dust, without any energy, floating outside of the cosmos. If we look at it with our naked eyes, we will see that the space is as wide as the distance of our two solar systems, about 240 million kilometers wide. However, the size of the actual hole is smaller, about 1/24th of that space. Is that a so-called black hole? I interrupted. It can be called a hole, and the word black can be used to represent darkness because nothing exists, not even light. It shared similar characteristics as the outside of the universe, which is beyond the laws of space and time. Mean explained. Next, let me explain the cosmic rotation process of the universe, he continued, taking his mission very seriously. Hey, wait a minute. I think I know what you're going to tell me next. I interrupted him. Let me try to tell you what I think. And please confirm if that's what you mean to say. You're going to tell me that the chain reaction triggered by the positive frequency we emit reacts with the liquid oxygen element under the surface of the Earth to create an explosion. When it explodes, it causes the Earth to spin. When the Earth spins, it moves around the solar system. Propelled by this centrifugal force, the solar system itself moves. And this movement causes the whole Milky Way galaxy to rotate. When this galaxy at the center of the universe spins, it moves all other galaxies in the universe. I explained what I thought I had understood. Wow, yes, that is correct, Mean exclaimed, obviously happy that I had followed his long explanation. And that's the process that created space and time of the universe. Thank you so much that you have made my job easy, and that you have understood the truth. Actually, he added, I thought I would need a lot more time to explain everything to you. But now, after hearing your summary, I think you do understand the whole processes in the creation of the universe, he said with an expression of relief. Hang on, I think what I've said should have come from what you had wanted to communicate to me through telepathy. This doesn't mean that I believe it. Let's think about it this way. Is it possible that small creatures and humans like us can propel the whole universe, which in effect causes this cycle of time? I raised this question for discussion. Anyway, I think I've accomplished my mission because I've explained the truth to you. Now it's entirely up to you whether you wish to believe it or not, said Mean. You know what? If it's true what you just told me, this changes the whole theory and all beliefs that have been long held by people in my world. I replied, I didn't change anything, everything exists that way. I've only told you the truth. Min repeated. The knowledge of all your scientists combined is, in fact, less than 1/1000th of the whole picture. So, you can't say that I have changed it. Actually, the people on your planet should try to understand the implications from what I've shared with you. Nevertheless, I replied, thank you for your effort to explain this new knowledge to me. Even though I can't quite believe what you've told me yet, it did give me a new perspective on the plausibility of the world and the universe. Oh, no, what I've said is not a new perspective. It's a fact which is irrefutable. It's not just a thought process. You have only two choices, to believe it or not, because what you will find on my planet is based on the understanding of this universal processes. Min emphasized, well, why don't you give it some further thought as you take this time now to rest? He said. We both spent the time chatting until late at night. I thought in my world time, it would have been around 9 or 10 in the evening. Before I left the table, I looked out the window and was surprised by the atmosphere outside. It wasn't so dark here at nighttime. I looked to the distant hills and I could see everything very clearly, almost like on a moonlit night, only much brighter. Even though there was no moon at all. Yes, Min said, having read my thoughts. The night here is brighter than in your world because our moon is almost twice the size of yours. But now, it hasn't risen yet. Later at night, when the moon is up, the sky will be even brighter. Okay, let's go to bed now. I will take you to your room, he added, leading the way. The bedroom was partitioned off from the main room by a wooden wall, and instead of a door they used a long thick fabric, beautifully woven with an exotic pattern, which hung from a wooden curtail rail. Inside the room was a low bed, similar to the ones that we use on Earth. On the bed was a mattress, neatly covered with a bed sheet, a pillow, and a blanket that looked very warm. All textiles were embroidered with floral patterns. Nappa was inside the bedroom, obviously making sure that the room was ready to accommodate their guest. I'm afraid the room is quite simple and not very luxurious, Nappa said, but I hope you will have a good night's sleep. We are delighted to have the opportunity to welcome you. Have a good rest, she added. I could feel their excitement. It seemed that they had never had any guests staying with them before. It looks very cozy, thank you, Nappa, I said gratefully. Yes, you're right. This actually is the first time that we receive a guest, she admitted, of course having heard what I had thought. Since we volunteered to stay here, which was about 22,000 years ago, you are the first person to stay in this room. Nappa added, wow, I feel very honored. I answered, good night, have a good rest, and see you tomorrow, Min said, before leaving the room with Nappa. When they dropped the curtain behind them, the room fell into total darkness, and as there wasn't any window, I couldn't look outside. I lay down on the bed and thought to myself, what was I doing here? And to figure out again if I was dreaming. I covered my face with my palms and thought about all the things that had happened during the day.